This is a sitting meditation with breath as the primary object of awareness. And so arranging to spend this time in a comfortable but attentive posture, preferably sitting up without leaning back for support if that's possible for you, and at a time and in a place where you won't be disturbed. And so sitting in a dignified position, head balanced on shoulders, arms and hands resting in a comfortable position, taking this time to allow ourselves to switch from our normal mode of doing and moving and reacting to one of simply being. Just being attentive to what's happening within your own awareness right here and right now. And as you sit, noticing sensations of breath, noticing perhaps how your abdomen moves on each in-breath and each out-breath, or the movement of air through your nostrils. Or you may notice the slight movement of chest and shoulders. And so just bringing your awareness to whichever part of your breath cycle and to wherever it is the most vivid. Whether that is your tummy, your chest, your shoulders, or the movement of air through your nostrils. Noticing the entire cycle of breath, from the movement of the air coming in, filling the lungs, and extending the abdomen slightly, and then the movement of air going out, perhaps being aware of the pause, that stopping point in between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath, and the next in-breath. Noticing it's all one movement, even through the change of direction. And so just seeing if you can notice where that pause is. Seeing to what degree you can be aware of your whole entire cycle, and yet recognizing that each part of the cycle is different from the other parts. And this time, the cycle is different than the last time through. And so each cycle, each breath, is absolutely unique in its own way if we really pay attention. Just following the breath. You'll notice your attention from time to time shifting away from the breath. The mind may wander into fantasies or memories or thoughts of the day, worries that you might have about things that need to be done. And so without giving yourself a hard time when you notice that this is happening, gently but firmly bring your awareness back to the sensations of breathing, back to the actual physical sensations of breath as it moves through your body. You might notice the tendency to want to control your breathing. But we just allow the quality of attention to be light and easy, one of observing and noticing. You can imagine that you're on a float on a gently undulating sea, where you're up with one wave and down with the next. We don't control the duration of the wave, nor the depth between the waves. We're just simply riding. And so riding the waves of the breath, continually coming back to the sensations of breathing. Simply following the breath. Returning over and over again to the sensations of breathing. And as you're paying attention to your breath, you may also notice that there are other sensations of awareness in the background of awareness. For instance, you may notice that there are sounds, in addition to the sounds that come from this recording, perhaps sounds of traffic or voices, or something else going on in your environment. And so we simply notice that our attention has moved to that perception of sound. You might stay with it long enough to notice the quality of the sound, the tone, the volume, or the intensity. Being aware of the mind labeling sound. You might be aware of the qualities of the pitch or rhythm or intensity. But if you've been paying attention to sound or noticing that you've been resting your attention on the sounds, this is your awareness telling you that you've slipped away from the breath. And so bringing your attention once again back to the breath. Allowing the breath to be your anchor of awareness. Noticing each time your awareness has gone off in some other direction, we notice and we gently come back to the breath without judgment. And you might notice the tendency to have an opinion about things. Some things we like, others not. Sometimes we find it uncomfortable to be sitting this long. And so this too can be an object of awareness. Noticing that you have an opinion about things, and that might happen often. So you can simply note it. That's my liking mind. It's liking this. Or that's my critical mind that would rather have things different than they are right now. That too can be noticed. And so we're building the capacity to notice liking or disliking. And we don't have to do anything about it. Just noticing how freeing that is. And then coming back to noticing the physical sensations of breath. The waves of breath. One cycle at a time. You may also notice attention shifting to body sensations. It could be achiness, tension, tightness. And as you notice these sensations of discomfort, there are several things that can be done. One is, if it's a sensation that can be remedied by shifting a little, one way to deal with it is to allow yourself to shift. But before doing that, become aware of the sensation, noticing precisely where the sensation or achiness might be. And then notice whether it shifts or changes on its own. And if you continue to be uncomfortable, developing an intention to move and moving very mindfully with full intent to make the motion. But first, being with the sensation. We're learning how a sensation arises, and then in many instances simply passes away. Always returning to the breath, the sensation of breathing. And bringing curiosity to this meditation, what does it feel like to be breathing? To be a human with a body, with breath. Seeing if you can be really curious about these sensations, this phenomena we call breathing. Just being with the rise and the fall of the breath. And if your mind keeps getting called back to an area of intense sensation, remembering that you have two choices. One of forming an intention to do something about it and mindfully doing it, but forming intention first, or bringing your attention and intention right into the sensation, being curious about it. What's the shape of the sensation? Where are the edges? How would you name the qualities of the sensation? Throbbing, pounding, hot, cool. If it had a color, what would that color be? How is it changing over time? And wherever the mind goes, in terms of thoughts to liking or disliking, perceptions or sensation, or the hearing of sound, or feelings, perhaps of peace, or of sadness, or frustration, or anticipation. Simply noticing these thought forms and returning from awareness of the thought forms or the sensations to the awareness of breath. Seeing if it's possible to have a friendly attitude toward whatever comes into your awareness, whether it's a fantasy, a judgment, a sound, a sensation. Simply noticing in a friendly manner and coming back to the breath. Beginning again, over and over again. Recognizing that the entire cycle of awareness is important to this experience, including the movement away from the breath, as well as the coming back. Nothing to do but ride the waves of breath. Just being with this breath and this breath. And this breath. And seeing if it is possible in those moments when your awareness is taken off someplace else, if you can notice how that flicker of attention happens, that very moment when you realize your mind has gone somewhere else, somewhere other than the breath. And at that moment, seeing if it is possible to have an attitude of celebration, of congratulation, of recognition that this is an important moment of awareness. It's a moment to acknowledge yourself for noticing your mind has gone off somewhere else. And then very easily, in a very gentle manner, bringing your attention back to the breath. Returning to the breath over and over again. just breathing. So natural, so effortless, just being. No place to go, nothing to do, but just be. And as this meditation comes to a close, acknowledging that you've spent this time intentionally aware of your moment-to-moment experience, nourishing and strengthening your ability to be with whatever comes your way, building the capacity to open to the senses, to the vividness, to the aliveness of the present moment. Expanding your skill to be curious, available about whatever presents itself without judgment. And I'll ring the bell 3 times and simply place your awareness onto the sounds of the bell, allowing them to come to you and following them until they dissolve and disappear. And as the sound of the bell dissolves and disappears, beginning to move your body, perhaps stretching, rolling your shoulders, taking a deeper breath, sighing it out. And whenever you're ready, allowing your eyes to open if they've been closed, and just taking a look around the space that you're in, like you're looking at it for the first time. This is a new moment, a new breath. Taking this spirit of curiosity and openness into the rest of your day.